Hi, moms. Hello, everyone. I'm Leah Lavero. Welcome to Homeschooling Well, our Facebook Live sessions. Today, we're going to be talking about how not to lose yourself in this season of homeschooling. And today, it's specifically about our physical health. And I have a feeling that you know where I'm going to go with a bunch of these things. So everybody might not be excited to watch this video, but I encourage you to just stick through it to the end. I have a lot of terrible/funny stories about my own personal physical health and how much it has affected me in my homeschooling. So hopefully that will be encouraging to you and give you a little boost with how to take care of yourself in this really trying and busy season of life that we're in. So the first thing that I want to say, of course, maybe of course, is that the Bible has a lot to say about our bodies and how we take care of them. The New Testament specifically tells us that our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit and that we are to care for them. So that being said, I think that we probably all know that, but from a more practical angle, we really need our bodies to be in good shape because we need so much energy. Hey, Deborah, in this time of our lives, it takes so much energy to homeschool our kids. It's a 24/7 gig. Everybody says parenting is 24/7, parenting is 24/7. But truly, homeschooling is actually 24/7 because we are just with our kids 24/7. And we need to have energy and stamina for that. And there's a bunch of things that we can do to make sure that we have energy and stamina for that. And I know that we probably don't like some of those things, but we're going to talk about them anyway today. The other thing that comes up a lot when we start talking about this is that we feel like maybe we shouldn't take the time in our lives, the time in our day, and the time in our week that it takes to think about ourselves and to take care of ourselves, because we should be putting all of that energy and all of that time into our kiddos and making sure that they have everything that they need. But really, truly, what they need most from us is for us to have energy to be with them and to live a long and healthy life, to be their moms for as long as we possibly can. So this isn't going to be that painful, so we'll just dive right in. The first thing that I want to talk about is sleep. We all know that sleep is so important to our overall health, to our mental health, to our physical health. Hey, Jennifer. We've all heard that. We've all heard 8 hours of sleep is what we're supposed to get. That's not necessarily true. Your body needs what your body needs, and it's not 8 hours for every single person, which is great because I never get 8 hours of sleep. It's really impossible to get. But it's still very important. And at this stage of our lives, a lot of people have little ones. A lot of moms have little ones still, and they're up in the middle of the night with the kids. And it's just really hard to get that rest that we need. So one of the most important things that we can do for ourselves is to set a bedtime for ourselves. We always set a bedtime for our kids, or hopefully we always set a bedtime for our kids. We'll talk about that next. But we really need mom to have a bedtime too, because you know what happens. We end up watching TV. We end up saying, I'll fold the laundry and watch TV. And we end up not going to sleep until it's too late for us to get a good night's rest. And a lot of times we have the mentality of as soon as the kids go to bed, we're really excited, and it's our time, and we deserve this time to wind down and to watch something on Netflix or to binge something on Amazon Prime, and we're kind of looking forward to that, and it's supposed to wind us down for the day. But what ends up happening is we stay up too late. And I know we know all of these things, but it's just a reminder. We stay up too late and we don't end up getting the sleep that we need and the rest that we need. And it really just comes back to bite us the next day. I don't know if you've ever had any of those homeschool days where you stayed up too late at night binge watching something, and then throughout the whole entire day, we're just trying to fight not falling asleep while you're teaching your kids. So those are really miserable, and they don't seem to be better than, it doesn't seem to be worthwhile doing that the night before. One of the difficulties that I've had in getting to bed on time is that, or on what I think is on time, is that the kids haven't gone to sleep yet. So really sticking with the bedtime that you have in mind for the kids is so, so important. And if the bedtime routine takes too long, start earlier than you think that you should start. So I have an alarm that goes off on my phone at 7:30, and the kids don't go to bed till 8:30, but we have to start that, hey, Epi, we have to start the whole rigmarole and the whole process at 7:30 if we want to actually get to sleep at 8:30, or get the kids. If I want to be tiptoeing out of the kids' rooms by 8:30, we have to start at 7:30. And if that doesn't give you enough time still, and you don't get to your appointed bedtime that you set for yourself, you might need to move up the kids' bedtime. So the bedtime has shifted a bunch of times in our house over the years as the kids have aged, and then I kind of, as they got older, let them stay up a little too long, and we had to back it back down to be a little bit earlier. But that's been so important in helping me get to bed on time. So I like to be in my bedroom, not asleep by 9, but I've got to be in my bedroom, and I need to be asleep by 9:30, or else I'm in a lot of trouble the next day. So I've had to adjust the kids' bedtime in order for me to get that done. I've had to make it earlier, and they moaned and groaned, but it just had to happen because they don't like me very much the next day anyway when I don't get enough sleep. So they begrudgingly understand that it has to be done. The last part about sleep that I want to talk about is sleep quality. So even if you get 8 hours of sleep, like this fantastical idea that people have about getting 8 hours of sleep, even if you get that 8 hours of sleep, or 7 hours, in my case, 7 hours is amazing, it's not always the same quality of sleep. And we really have to do some things, or not do some things, in order to get really good sleep quality, because we could be asleep for 7 or 8 hours and still have that sort of sleep hangover feeling the next day and not have enough energy. I'm sure you've heard this around the internet or around town. I don't know who you listen to on podcasts and whatnot, but I hear this a lot. You really need to be off of your screens, off of your devices 2 hours before bedtime, or else your mind has not settled down enough to get a good quality sleep. And it really can mess you up for multiple days. Even if you're binge watching at night on a Monday, your sleep might still be affected on a Wednesday from it. And that's just horrible. We all do it. Even though I have this information, I still do it. But I think that I shouldn't be doing it, and I don't do it as much as I used to. So I hope that helps you a little bit with the sleep aspect of taking care of yourself. So the next thing I want to talk about are our body habits. Drinking enough water. We need a lot of water. I didn't even understand how much water we need, and maybe you know this and maybe you don't, but you're supposed to drink the number, let me see if I can say this right. You're supposed to drink the number of ounces that is equal to half of your body weight in pounds, if that makes any sense. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you're supposed, which I'm sure we all do, weigh 100 pounds, you're supposed to drink 50 ounces of water a day. Am I saying that right? I can't see people's comments, so I still can't figure out how to do that. One day I'll figure out technology. So you have to drink half of your body weight in ounces. That's a lot of water. So I know some moms, and I don't do this because I love water and I more or less get the right amount every day, set alarms on their phone to get enough water. And when we're not hydrated properly, our energy levels are just completely zapped, and we just can't show up for our kids and show up for our homeschools the way that we really need to. And so if the other trick that I've heard people do is they have large containers that you can buy on Amazon, where you can just fill the one container with the proper number of ounces that you need every day, and just drink that slowly throughout the day. And you obviously know when you've done it. So that's an easy way to get that in. One of the problems that I have with my sleep is that I don't eat the proper food. And no surprise, I struggle with my eating. for me, and I think this is the case for a lot of people, and they may not notice it, or they may not, it might not affect them as greatly as it does for me. But when I don't eat the proper food that my body, because everybody's body is different, but when I eat food that's not right for my body, the next day I feel like I have like a food hangover. Like I know I didn't drink any alcohol, but I've got a hangover, and it is a food hangover. I call it a food coma sometimes, and it takes me a couple days to recover from something that I've eaten that's really bad for me, and it's just awful. It's just completely awful. So, I think it was. I wish I wrote this down. One of the Greek philosophers said that let thy food be your fuel. Oh no, they said let your food be your medicine, but also your fuel. The same idea. What we eat gives us the proper energy that we need, and one of this is terrible to admit, but being healthy, eating the proper things, has been really difficult in my life. And when I was less healthy, my homeschooling was nearly impossible. And I'm going to get to going to the doctor and doing checkups next, which I know we don't want to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. But I personally used to be 85 pounds heavier than this. And when I was that much heavier than I am now, and I still have a ways to go, but I was so much heavier than this, I was homeschooling and I was falling asleep while, even though I was getting my 8 hours of sleep a night, I was falling asleep while I was trying to homeschool. I don't know if anybody else has fallen asleep while they're doing read alouds with their kids, but my brother would come in the house and find me asleep on the couch where I had been doing a read aloud, and then the kids would wait for me to fall asleep and then tiptoe out of the room to not wake me up and run away and go play. And that's a horrible condition to live in. So we don't all have to aspire to the same level of health or the same level of energy. Everybody's born with the same level of different levels of energy from each other. We don't all have to have the same level of energy and be able to do the same amount of things in a day. But certainly there is a standard that we should all be meeting where we're not so unhealthy that we are falling asleep while we're homeschooling our children. So the food was, for me in particular, what was causing me to have such a hard time staying awake and having such low energy. And it really makes a huge difference in our lives. So pay attention to your food. And it's so difficult eating food off of our kids' plates when they have leftovers. It's just a bad habit. So the last thing under body habits that I wanted to talk about is going for checkups. Some of us have probably not had a checkup in many, many, many years. And some of us might have low energy because we have a legitimate health problem that we're not aware of. We could have thyroid issues, or any number of there's some autoimmune disorders that are very hard to spot. You get used to how your body feels and you don't realize that it feels so off. So these are very extreme cases, but somebody out there probably is unaware that the low energy is coming from an actual medical condition that can be solved by going to checkups. I personally did not go to the dentist for 13 years. It's so easy to take the kids every 6 months and make sure that they are up on everything, but it's so hard for some reason to schedule that for ourselves and make that a priority. And one of the things that was getting stuck in my head was that I didn't want to take the time out of the school day to do it. And while that's true, I don't want to interrupt our school day. I want our school days to be consistent, and I want them to flow smoothly, and I want the kids to get the right number of days in per year, and I want them to learn what I want them to learn in the amount of time I want them to learn it in. But I finally got to a point where I realized I had to prioritize my health, and I had to make those appointments in the middle of the day because that's when doctors make those appointments, and I just had to suck it up and do it. And I had been putting off a number of surgical procedures, one full surgery, 2 surgical procedures. I just did them all last year because it was going on for so long and getting ridiculous, and I had to do them in the middle of the school day. Um, but they had to be done because my kids need me to be in better shape and in better condition. And it's also good modeling to them, um, teaching them how they need to care for themselves as they get older, and the kind of moms, if you have daughters, that they need to be, or the kind of parents that they need to be. Um, so we need to not feel guilty about that. And sometimes we have to just take the time out of the school day and do it. Um, the last thing that nobody wants to talk about is the movement habit. Uh, and I know that there's probably eye rolls right now, but I think what gets into our heads when we talk about exercise and we talk about movement is working out. And it's this really intense, really sweaty, really overdone workout where we're thinking of ourselves just in misery and agony, and maybe even feeling like we're going to throw up and having the beet red face, and it's just a nightmare. Like, who wants to do that? So then we just don't do that. But what's really important is just moving your bodies. And I'm sure that you've heard this before, but just moving in some way, shape, or form, taking walks. And I know one mom out there that will just do leg lifts in the morning, stretching, like anything to just get your body moving and keep it healthy. I suspect that some of us, as we're getting older, those of us getting into our 40s, and maybe there's some moms out there getting into their 50s, we have little aches and pains that we're just used to. And I didn't even realize that I had little aches and pains all over my body until I was exercising more and they went away. And then all of a sudden I realized, wait a second, my knee used to hurt. It used to be a little achy when I woke up in the morning or in the middle of the night. If I was laying wrong, it hurt. And then that didn't happen anymore. So when we're moving, even just taking walks, or especially taking walks, we're strengthening our ligaments in our joints. And some of those aches and pains will just go away. And just take note. You might think right now as I'm talking that you don't have little aches and pains, and you might. And you're just so used to them that you don't even realize it. I think I think everything I said was pretty simple, but keep it simple. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be every single day. And one of the ways that you can get into more motion and get healthier, is to do things with your kids. Do nature walks with your kids. It kills two birds with one stone. You're walking, they're walking, and you're out in nature doing some nature study, and that counts as science. And hopefully you're enjoying God's creation at the same time, and it's pleasant if it's good weather. So you can do that. You can do more rigorous field trips than maybe you're used to doing. Some field trips there can be hiking involved, or there can be some sort of boating involved. We have some things like that around here. Biking somewhere. Our homeschool group goes camping together, and the kids bring bikes. And the parents have been known to hike around with the kids. Just getting out in nature and doing those things together is just a win-win for everybody, and it gets you more exercise. I know that everybody knows this already. But it is just really important. It's hard to schedule in time to work out. That's another reason why we don't work out. We don't want to be working so hard and sweaty and disgusting and feeling miserable, but we also don't know when the heck to do it. So just putting it as part of your homeschool day, incorporating it into field trips and nature walks can be a way that you can get that in. And it's modeling a positive, healthy lifestyle for your kids. So I hope that that was a positive, uplifting message, and not one big eye roll of things that everybody doesn't want to do. But really, truly, taking care of yourself is not something that's selfish. It's something that is really important in being able to keep up with our kids and giving them the energy that they deserve, and just being able to be there and be on for them, and being able to handle our homeschool days. If you feel like your homeschool day is, if you are losing energy by a certain time of the day and petering out and feel like, I'm done, I just can't do any more things. You might not be in the best physical condition. And so that's a good place to start. to try to figure out how you can get more energy and get in all of the things that you want to do with your kids or feel like you should do with your kids or that they want you to do with them. So I hope that was an okay message, and I'll be back next week talking about um, our continuing education as our continuing educations as moms. We like to talk about homeschooling our kids in such a way that they become lifelong learners, but we might have neglected the fact that we should also be lifelong learners, and a lot of us have stopped learning as soon as we were done with school, so ourselves. So we are going to talk about that next week, next Sunday, and talk about how we can continue to be lifelong learners ourselves and the importance of that. So I hope to see you then, and have a great week homeschooling your kids. Bye-bye.